The ambulance siren, a shrill, frantic sound, faded into the distance, carrying me away from the comfortable two-story home my late husband and I built. I, Martha 72, a retired librarian, was supposedly on my way to the emergency room, convinced by my concerned, yet curiously insistent, stepson, Gary 45, that the sudden dizziness I experienced was a sign of a serious stroke. Gary, a self-proclaimed financial guru who was living rent-free in my spare room, insisted on calling the paramedics and ensuring I was swiftly loaded onto the stretcher. His wife, Brenda 43, stayed behind, holding my hand until the very last second, her eyes wet with what looked like genuine, loving concern. But here's the thing, I wasn't actually having a stroke. The dizziness was a lie, a performance rehearsed in my mind for weeks. As the ambulance rounded the corner and I was finally alone, I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out my tablet. Before the ambulance even hit the highway, I had the live feed from my strategically placed hidden camera a small, sophisticated device concealed inside a clock on my mantelpiece, fully operational. The screen snapped to life, showing my perfectly normal living room, now eerily empty. Just 2 minutes later, Gary returned from the curb, and the sickening transformation began. He didn't rush to call family or check on my status. He exchanged a chilling, triumphant smirk with Brenda. Then, Brenda pulled out a large, heavy-duty padlock and chain from beneath the sofa cushions, and Gary headed straight for the small, heavy oak door to my late husband's home office. The office that contained my safe, my will, and every valuable piece of jewelry I owned. I watched from the back of an ambulance, still wearing the hospital gown, as my stepson and his wife prepared to lock down and loot my house believing I was incapacitated and far away. Was I wrong to use a medical emergency as a tactical decoy, forcing my stepson to reveal his treacherous plan on camera, just to gather the ironclad evidence I needed to strip him of every legal right and inheritance? Or was this the only way to expose his betrayal without risking my physical safety? Tell me, if you saw your loved ones turn into thieves the moment you were out the door, would you call them immediately, or would you wait and let them fully incriminate themselves? My life has been marked by quiet stability. My husband, Arthur passed away 5 years ago, leaving me the house, a sizable estate, and 2 children. My daughter, Sarah 48, who is successful and independent, and Gary, my stepson from Arthur's first marriage. Arthur always loved Gary, but he was always the disappointment, drifting from one failed scheme to the next. After Arthur died, Gary and Brenda, claiming financial hardship, moved in temporarily. That temporary stay stretched into 4 years. Over that time, the atmosphere changed. Gary began to treat the house as his, and Brenda started making thinly veiled inquiries about my health, and, more aggressively, about the contents of my husband's private safe. I, the former librarian, was not naive. I saw the greed hardening their expressions. My suspicion turned to certainty last month when I caught Gary trying to reorganize the books in Arthur's locked office, clearly trying to locate the safe hidden behind a bookshelf. I confronted him, and he gave a flimsy excuse about dusting. That day, I called Sarah, and together we installed the professional-grade hidden camera system. The stroke plan was devised the moment I realized they were waiting for my death, or at least my complete incapacitation. I knew if I simply went to the doctor, they would wait. I needed an absence dramatic enough to trigger their move. I had practiced the slurred speech and the clutching of the head until the performance was flawless. When I gave the signal, a sudden, exaggerated slump in my chair, Gary went into immediate overdrive, calling 911. He was frantic, not with concern, but with impatient excitement. In the ambulance, I told the paramedics, who were thankfully focused on my vital signs, that I was feeling better, attributing the episode to stress. They were happy to slow down and pull over at a small, remote clinic for a precautionary check, allowing me the crucial 10 minutes I needed. My focus was entirely on the tablet screen. As the ambulance pulled away, the footage was chillingly clear. Brenda, the moment the siren died, let out a nervous giggle. "I told you, Gary. All that talk about her having another 5 good years was nonsense. Now, get that safe." Gary, however, went not for the safe, but for the *** office door ***. The lock was expensive and custom-made. He attached the padlock and chain he had prepared and secured it tightly. *** Gary on video. ***, this locks her out completely. When she comes back, she can claim we were protecting her valuables from the emergency crews. But for the next 48 hours, ***, this room belongs to us, ***. They weren't just stealing, they were claiming ownership, attempting a strategic lockdown to give themselves time to ransack the contents and perhaps even swap out my actual will, which left them a small, fixed sum with a forged one. Next, Brenda walked over to the mantelpiece and, right in front of the camera, picked up a beautiful antique clock. She looked directly at the camera, and my blood ran cold. She knew, no. She merely checked her reflection in the glass, adjusted her hair, and replaced the clock, completely oblivious that the device sitting 6 inches away was currently broadcasting her entire criminal plot. The sheer arrogance was stunning. The looting began in the rest of the house. They weren't discreet. They were celebrating. Gary found my spare cash reserve $5,000 intended for unexpected repairs, and immediately pocketed it, high-fiving Brenda. Brenda tried on my late mother's antique emerald necklace, laughing, "Looks better on me anyway." I sat in the clinic waiting room, calmly answering the doctor's questions about my stress, while watching the live feed of my possessions being violated and my trust utterly destroyed. So that's the situation I was in. I successfully faked a stroke and tricked Gary and Brenda into leaving me at a remote clinic. I was watching, via a hidden camera, as they secured my late husband's office and began looting the house, convinced they had 48 hours of uninterrupted crime. The video evidence was pristine and ongoing. Before I tell you about the total, comprehensive legal trap I had already set up, which made their video confession the last mistake they would ever make in my home, I want you to pause and comment below what you would have done in my shoes. Would you have called the police immediately, or would you have used the next 24 hours to ensure you gathered every possible detail of their criminal intent for a total, crushing prosecution? I chose the latter. Calling the police immediately would interrupt the crime, but it might not guarantee a conviction strong enough to truly satisfy justice, or prevent Gary from somehow trying to leverage his relationship with my late husband. I needed the case to be airtight, comprehensive, and humiliating. I needed them to think they had succeeded, right up until the last, devastating second. I stayed at the remote clinic overnight, claiming the doctor advised 24 hours of observation. This gave Gary and Brenda nearly a full day to commit their crimes. Meanwhile, I called Sarah, who was already fully aware of the surveillance setup. I quietly narrated the events, and she immediately contacted our attorney, ***, Mr. Vance ***, a shark in property and probate law. The plan was simple, swift, and designed to strip them of all leverage, including the roof over their heads. Step 1. The eviction injunction. While Gary and Brenda were still looting, Mr. Vance filed an immediate *** emergency rest